Well, first, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
I'm
thank
so
you for having me.
excited for having you here, to have you here. I've been creeping your TikTok a lot, and I feel like anytime I feel like stuck or I'm like, oh, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling so nervous or just like nervous energy? I go to your page and I'm like, oh my God, okay, like quick, tangible tips. I feel like that's something so valuable that everyone needs in their life.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm just really excited to have you on.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to start from like the very beginning. So you had mentioned to me prior that you were in a career where you were studying audio engineering back in 2017. And this was something for you that for the first 20 years of your life, you were like, yes, this is my path. I'm going to do this.
Yep.
But after a while, you mentioned that you lost passion for it, right?
Yes.
And then fast forward to today, you're working for yourself. You are combining neuroscience with personal development, which I love. And I just want to get into how you went from feeling lost in that period of your life till feeling like now you're in a place where you've really found your purpose and your passion for this topic.
Yeah, well, I think do you want me to start where I got out of it or kind of like the backstory?
Yeah, I think like as far deep as you want to go into it is cool with me.
Okay, yeah. So just like you said, I spent 20 years wanting to be in the music industry, and I got accepted into Drake's home studio before he built OVO. And I was like, my career's made. I'm gonna make it, because I've always had really good drive. Like when I'm motivated and when I'm into something, like I'm gonna make it happen. So when I got accepted into Drake's home studio for audio production engineering, I was like, done with my work ethic. Like I'm gonna make it. And then as I kind of like went through the program, well, first of all, I took a year off between high school and going there.
Yeah.
And I changed a lot within that year, but didn't really notice it. Like I was very unaware. And so when I went back into the program, I just started to notice myself like not passionate at all. It was like, it felt more like a chore than it did like, oh, like this is my life. Like this is what I get to do.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of came to the conclusion, because I've my whole life been very purpose driven. Like if I don't find purpose in something, I'm not going to do it.
100% agree.
Yeah. And it was always career related for me. Like I'm like, I'm not going to spend my days doing something that literally is awful. Like I don't want to do it.
Sucks the life out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, who does want that, right?
I know. And so I've always been very in tune with like if something is lighting me up and if it's not. Oh, she's so cute.
Is she right behind me? Hi. Did you want to speak? She's so crazy. Hi, Junie.
But yeah, I've always been very in tune with when something lights me up and when it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of started to notice like this is starting to feel like a chore. I'm really not into this anymore. So I made the very difficult decision to postpone I forget the word they use, but it was like, okay, you want to drop out now, but like we'll keep your acceptance for next year in case you change your mind.
Right. Oh, defer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they deferred me a year. And I was like, I'm going to take that year to figure out if this is really what I want to do. And I entered a very, very big rut of like depression, like had no sense of purpose every day, just really didn't feel good. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I was at the age too where a lot of my friends were like literally 2 years away from graduating university. And I was like, they have it all figured out. They know who they are. They know who they want to be. They know what they want to do for the rest of their life. And like, what am I doing? Like, I just felt very disconnected. And so I dropped out when I was 20. And I didn't start getting into what I'm doing now until I was 25. So for 5 years, I was just lost, like hating my life every day. I went through a really big period of like depression where I had like suicidal ideation, chronic anxiety, just really questioning life. And it wasn't until I started to learn about the brain. So ironically, before I even got into what I'm doing now, I got into website and brand design. And I was really passionate about it. It was really creative. It was a great creative outlet for me, especially because I spent my whole life being creative. And then I kind of felt like I wanted to hit new levels of success in this like design business that I started. And that's when I started to learn about the brain, but simultaneously I was still struggling mentally. Like I had like really bad anxiety. I was really lost. I didn't know who I was.
And that's so frustrating too, because I feel like, and I had a period of like that with myself as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this happening when it's like you have all the tools, you know what to do, like you're doing everything, meditating, working out, doing everything that you know will help you, but you still feel in that cycle, right? That's so frustrating.
Yeah. Well, so at this point in time, I actually wasn't aware of any of that. I don't even think I've heard of the word meditation. Like I didn't know any of that.
Right.
But I definitely still, having known all these tools, have gone through periods. Like I'd say the last 8 months has been really good for me. But before then, I was similar like that. I was like, I have all the tools. Like, why am I struggling so much?
Yeah.
But it took wanting to hit new levels of success in the business side to start learning about the brain. And then that's when I started to learn like, oh, like I can heal my anxiety. Like I can heal my depression. Like I don't have to feel lost or like purposeless. And then I just started learning about the brain. I took some like accredited trainings and courses on brain health, neuroscience, neuropsychology, learning all about like the subconscious mind, neuroplasticity, all of that. And that's when I was like, I'm so passionate about this. Like this is the coolest thing ever. Like I'm obsessed with the brain. And that's kind of where I took a really big leap of faith. I had no clients. I had no actual coaching business or anything like that. No podcasts, anything like that. And I was like, I don't want to do design anymore. I'm just going to jump into coaching. And so I did, which I know a lot of people are like, that's crazy. Like, why do you, but I've always been like that. I've always been like, go big or go home. Like if I don't feel passionate about something anymore, like I'm jumping towards what I am passionate about. And that was a very long story, but
no, it's
that's
good.
How I got into
it's
what I'm doing. Yeah.
I love that. And I think too, like when you were coming into the place of, you know, learning about the brain, and can I just say thank God that you did, because the way that you're sharing it now with everyone in such a digestible way is so helpful to your followers and everyone that's listening to you. Did you ever come from a science background, or was it more just like this intuitive, like knowing maybe that you wanted to learn more, and obviously as you learned more, you were striving to learn more and you were able to apply more? Like, how did you ever feel, I guess, that sense of imposter syndrome going from such a creative field to now something that is more science-based?
Absolutely. But for starters, I grew up in a very holistic household. Like my mom was a certified detox specialist. She is. I don't know why I said was, as if like she's no longer here. She's a certified detox specialist. And so health was a really big conversation in my house growing up. So I'd say yes, science, but it wasn't familiar to me in the sense of I didn't get a degree in science or anything like that.
Right.
And so absolutely, when I first started my TikTok account was when I started really learning about the brain. This would have been like summer of 2023, I think. And I'd say I was learning about the brain probably 6 months before I started my TikTok account. And when I started my TikTok account, I was like, yeah, we're going all in. Like, this is so cool. And then I started getting, obviously, I was going viral. So what you get with virality is obviously haters. And they'd be like, where's your degree? Where's, how do you think you're able to talk? Like, I don't remember exactly what they were saying, but they were implying like, who the hell are you to talk about this kind of stuff if you don't have a degree?
Which is so interesting, because it's like, these are people behind a screen, most likely anonymous, literally sitting on their couch, just like spewing the negativity
user
and hate.
58382.
Yeah, literally. Or it's like love Jesus in the bio, like faith, family, football in the bio. And you're like, who the fuck are you, Karen?
Yeah.
It's so crazy that like, and then but that's just always the people who have something to say. That's a common narrative. And something else that I've heard too, because I listen to a lot of self-help podcasts, especially, do you know the Skinny Confidential? Have you heard of it? Yes. Love, weekly listener of that show. And
didn't they rebrand to His and Her podcast?
His and Her. Yeah. So Skinny Confidential, him and her show. And they talk a lot on the show, or have different experts, specialists on, and not maybe everyone is like quote unquote accredited, has a PhD.
Yeah.
But they have interviewed doctors before, like just generic medical doctors who might be speaking on the topic of nutrition, or they're asked about it on the show. And they're like, oh, to be completely honest with you, like we didn't receive the kind of training that obviously a nutritionist would receive. Like this is like, we only study it for X amount of weeks, and it's no fault to their own. It's just they never like learned that in their practice, which is like, okay, so that like, sure, it may come with the title of that degree or of that designation, but it's like someone who's consistently researching, doing other courses in their spare time. It's like, who's to say that, why would that person not be more credible? Like they're the one actually putting in so much time and work for it. So I just want to, that's just like frustrating to hear for me to hear you say that, because it's like, I know, like, you know your stuff, so it's like, it's very,
and I'm confident now, but when I started getting those comments, I was very unaware of how people really were in terms of that, where I don't just mean like hate comments, but people saying things like, or people caring so much about your credibility. Like I really was unaware of that. And so when I went into talking about what I had learned, I was just oblivious that was a thing. So when I started getting those comments, it really took a hit at like, because it really triggered a belief that I'm still somewhat working through, but it's getting better, which is the fear of being misunderstood, because if I'm misunderstood, it means I'm wrong and I'm worthy. And so that really triggered that in me when I started getting comments like that. So yes, my imposter syndrome started once I started realizing that people really care about credibility. And I was like, oh yeah, who am I to be talking about stuff like this? And so I started
question yourself.
I started questioning myself, and I actually started self-sabotaging, and I started posting less and less and less and less on online, and started to really doubt my abilities to not help people, because I've always had a deep level of confidence where I'm like, no, I know what I'm talking about, but it was more of like sharing it online for people to hear. I was like, they're gonna misunderstand me, they're gonna think I'm wrong for doing this.
So how did you overcome that imposter syndrome? Because it's so understandable, like you have this subconscious belief that you maybe are already a little bit nervous about posting something, even though you are passionate about it and you want to share it and you want others to learn. But then it's almost like these people online that are almost validating that negative thought that you originally had about it. And you're like, shit, like, am I worthy of doing this? Like, do I keep going? So how did you personally overcome that? And like, I know you mentioned it is something that you're still working through, but what are some of the tips and tricks that you can give? And not even specifically on this, like of posting, but I would say just anything in life where people are wanting to try something new, but they have something holding them back, and then it gets validated by someone else saying that, and then it pushes them back even more. Like, how do you overcome that hump? Because it's something I feel like that we all struggle with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first and foremost thing is you have to understand that your brain has something called a confirmation bias. And so it's going to pay attention to everything in your environment to confirm what it already believes to be true. So just because someone points out something that is kind of a trigger to you doesn't actually make it true. It's just because that's already truth to your mind. In terms of, like, we'll say as an example, let's say I went into posting on social media and I was like, yeah, I really don't know what I'm talking about. Like, who am I to do that? And then I have like 100 comments of people saying this changed my life. And then I have 2 comments of people saying, who are you to do this? My brain's going to dismiss all the 100 comments of people encouraging me to keep going. And it's going to pay attention and validate the 2 people who told me that I don't know what I'm doing, because it's constantly scanning your environment to confirm what it already believes to be true. So that is obviously going to trigger a lot of like behavior in you where you're probably going to step back from doing what you want to do, because it's confirming to your brain that that's true, and then you think you're doing something wrong, or you don't think that you're worthy of being in that space, like whatever it is.
And your safety feels attacked.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that that's something really important to remind yourself of. Like, okay, just because I thought this about myself and someone else now is pointing it out doesn't take this with a grain of salt. Sometimes people do need some self-awareness.
Oh, don't we know? Yeah, absolutely.
But if we're talking in terms of like using my story as an example, like, it took really reminding myself of that core fact about the brain of like, okay, I'm only being triggered by this because my brain thinks it's true, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
And it was just formed through past experiences.
Yeah.
But on top of that, especially when it comes to imposter syndrome, the main belief tied to that, and you brought it up, is self-worth.
Right.
And so a lot of people, when they hit new levels, they'll feel imposter syndrome of like, who am I to be in this room right now? Like, I don't deserve to be here.
Right.
And it's simply because they've hit that upper limit ceiling of self-worth. And so you have to rewire your brain and regulate your nervous system around that. And we can obviously go into some tools about that. I don't know if you want to do that an hour later, but yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. I created something called the undo method. After I spent years and years and years doing mindset work, I would see results and then I wouldn't see results, or I would see a result and then I wouldn't be able to sustain it.
Right.
And I was like, mindset work works for so many people. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, why is it not working for me? And then I realized that my core issue was being in survival mode in my nervous system. And so part of my undo method is, instead of adding more and more and more on top of your mindset to-dos, where like, I don't know about you, but I would literally wake up and I'd be like, got to do my affirmations, got to do my mirror work, got to do my meditation. It was like literally a list of 100 different things. And I was like, what is this? Like,
if I'm honest, it's still like that.
It's still like
sense.
that?
Like,
okay.
If I'm like, why do I feel so off today? I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, one, like something externally stressful is happening.
Yeah.
Two, like my period is coming.
Yeah, that's a valid one.
Yeah. Three, or like I haven't worked out in a while, or like, okay, look at what you're eating.
Yeah.
Or like, look at how much caffeine you've had today. Like,
Yeah.
I look for other external things, and like, you just innately feel off.
Yeah. And then it also, you kind of enter survival mode essentially, because your brain is like, if I don't do these things, I'm not going to get where I want to be.
Yes, exactly.
And so
I feel like, sorry to interrupt you.
it's okay.
I feel like with that too, it's like I may be guilty of this in the sense where I've almost told myself so many times, like, this is what this is what I have to do in order to feel like I have everything together.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing these things, then that's when I'm going to start feeling more in survival mode
Yes.
and feel like things are off.
Yep.
And I feel like this is before I knew more about somatic work and the nervous system and the central nervous system and somatic tools to help calm, which I know we've chatted about before, and I'm sure like we'll get into that. But it's and I think this is what we were saying earlier, when we think about, you know, there's so much that we are doing to help ourselves with the to-do list, the affirmations, the sonical plunge
the intention
work.
is there.
The intention is there, but I heard this quote from a therapist, and she mentioned it was, you can't biohack your way out of trauma.
Yeah.
And that just stuck with me because I had never heard that before. Like, because I'm like, you rarely see someone that seemingly has it all together struggling. And I think because, one, some people are really good at hiding it. Two, some people just, again, aren't good at hiding it, aren't vocal about it. And then maybe sometimes it's helping those people, but temporarily. Like if something like more extreme could happen, then that could upset the nervous system even more.
Well, and I think too, I love biohacking. Like, I'm like big biohacker.
Same.
But I totally agree with that quote, because these biohacking tips are more so like, they're mood boosters, energy boosters. Like, go do your cold plunge, get the hit of dopamine, go get your morning sunlight, regulate your circadian rhythm. Like, those are all really great for your health.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if your brain and nervous system are not on the same page in terms of scanning your environment, and it doesn't think anything in your environment is a threat, and obviously you know this, and I'm sure your listeners know this if they listen to you, but like, scanning your environment for threat isn't just like, oh, I'm being chased by a bear, or a white van is following me. Like, it's literally everything. It's so much as like, let's say, I don't know, I fell off a balcony and there's a balcony right there. I'm going to be in survival mode because my brain is now seeing that balcony and it's reminding me of something. So it's so much. It could be someone in the room giving you the same type of energy that like an ex-boyfriend did. So you're going to be in survival mode because you're going to feel like nervous, right?
Yeah.
So you could do all the biohacking tips, but if your environment is, which it's always going to be, scanning for threat. And if something in your environment is considered a threat, and if you're someone who has that growth mindset and you want to move forward in life, you're always going to be faced with something in your environment that is a threat.
Yes.
Because you're putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. And you can't bypass that with a cold plunge. You can't
Yeah.
bypass that with morning sunlight. Like it's true what that therapist said.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like temporarily it can help. Like I know, for example, whenever I've been in an ice bath, when you're in the ice bath, it's like you're not thinking of anything else
no,
because
absolutely.
it's like your body is just so focused on like sitting in that cold water and sitting through the discomfort. And then when you get out, it feels like you took a shot of crack. And then maybe later in the evening or the next day, the like dopamine effects or just like the happy effects that you get from that start to wear off. Similar to a workout, similar to anything that's a little bit more of a short, like, yes, short term, yes, long term, but it's like depends on how often you're doing it, etc.
Well, and this is the thing, I think too, this is how people can get away with dismissing their trauma because they enter all these biohack tips and tricks, and then they're like, yeah, I feel great.
And no offense, but you do see like men do this a lot.
Oh no, absolutely.
All the time.
Absolutely. Because they don't want to be in touch with their feelings, and that's the issue. Society has trained them that it's not manly, it makes them weak, and blah,
or it's
blah, blah.
like, we're not going to talk about this. I'm just going to like put my head down, go to hockey, go to other shit, like just do whatever, which again, it's not wrong.
It's good for your health, but what about your like your mental
emotional
health?
well-being? Yeah, exactly. So it's something to take a look into.
But yeah, the undo method. So I was doing years and years of mindset work, and I would see some success, I wouldn't, or I'd see it and then I wouldn't be able to sustain it long term. And then I started learning about the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system. And that's when I was like, oh, like I'm really dysregulated. Like I literally, my nervous system can't hold all of the success that I want. And so, I'll see a little bit of success from the mindset work because my mind's in alignment with what I want. But then I would kind of sabotage it or like hold back because my nervous system couldn't hold that capacity, because your nervous system, think of it like a rubber band. When you're stuck in survival mode and it's dysregulated, it's really tight. You can't expand it to hold more space. But when it's relaxed and it like literally, you know how you can get like one of those really long rubber bands and you just like let it sit. That's so relaxed. When it's relaxed, you can expand it, and then you can actually hold more of that success. So you kind of have to like think of your nervous system and like your life almost like a rubber band, and it's kind of a weird analogy, but
it's simple. I like it.
Because if it's relaxed and it's really big and you can stretch it out, it literally can hold more space,
right?
But if it's really contracted and it's tight and you can't expand it, it can't hold any space.
It's kind of like what they say too with a fish or a shark. If you put a shark in a pond, it's only going to grow to its environment size of the pond.
Exactly.
But if you have the shark in the ocean where it's meant to be, then it can expand and like spread its wings in a sense, right?
Yeah, definitely in a sense. That is exactly what it's saying.
Yeah.
But also in the sense of being able to like attract more to you.
For sure.
Yeah. Because just like you said, and with that shark analogy, like you can't grow outside of your nervous system if there's literally no room to grow.
Yeah.
But you also can't attract what you want because it literally can't hold space for it.
Because it's in survival mode. So the only thing that it's thinking about is like keeping
you
yourself
safe.
alive.
Yeah,
and keeping you safe in that moment.
And it doesn't care what you want. Like, number one rule of thumb, your nervous system does not, can I swear?
Yeah, of course.
Your nervous system does not fucking care what you want in life. It has one job, and it's to keep you safe.
Exactly.
And so I started learning about the nervous system. Then I started to incorporate some nervous system tools into my daily practice. I started to see again some success, some not. But again, I was just really moving through life with this to-do list every day. I was like, oh my God, I missed my somatic shaking. So like, I'm not going to get where I want to be. Or like, oh my God, like I didn't have time for meditation before I had to do this interview. So now I'm not going to do a good job. Like it was literally like, I was dependent on it. And I was just moving through life with this like to-do list, and it would make me anxious if I couldn't complete the to-do list, or it would make me anxious if like it didn't go as to plan or whatever it was. And that was keeping me in survival mode.
Okay, this is like, I'm listening to you. I'm like, fuck, like, this is me. This is calling me out right now.
Yeah.
But it's good because it's making me more self-aware of, like, you can't just, like, again, have the list and do the things and expect all to be good. Like, it takes time.
Yep.
So, okay, the question we're all dying to know is, how do we overcome that? How do we get more in touch with our nervous system and help calm it without having that to-do list at the top of mind all the time?
So there's so many somatic tools you can use every day. Wait, you're asking me how to get out of the mindset of not having a million things to do?
How to get over the mindset of still feeling safe, even if you didn't complete that whole list or can't hit it every day.
Well, I think for a lot of people, that would come down to the standards you hold for yourself at a subconscious level.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also under, like, you have to believe that you're good enough as you are. Like, at the end of the day, because if this is a part of like kind of what I was getting at with like at the undo method is like this society, and ironically the personal development space is really like this, but it's always like, how can I be better? How can I be better? How can I be better? And then when we're not doing the things to become better, then we're stuck in survival mode, or we don't feel like we're good enough, or we don't feel like we're going to get where we want to be. Right. And so I think one of the most bottom line things is you have to feel okay with where you are now. And gratitude practices are really great for that. But also just rewiring the belief that like you're good enough as you are, and like life is good enough as it is. And like, but I also think where people can kind of struggle with that is feeling like if they feel good with where they are now, then they're not going to be able to achieve what they want because they feel like it's settling.
Correct.
But that's not how the brain works. So if you feel, and your nervous system, so if you feel like you're good where you are, then that becomes truth for everything, and you're going to start to attract more of what you want. So I can't remember exactly what I used in this example, the TikTok video, but it was one of my favorite videos I've done, because I talk about how a belief that will keep you stuck is I have to be better. Mm-hmm. Because, and again, so ironically, this is how men are like this. They're like, I have to be better, I have to be better, I have to be better. Yeah. That belief carries with you through every achievement. So it's not like once I get here I'm going to be good, or once I get here I'm better. It's now you're training your brain to enter this cycle where when you get that thing, it still believes you have to be better. So it's always going to be chasing the next thing, and you're never going to feel content or satisfied. Yeah. It's
kind of like, oh, I'll be happy when I get to 100K. And then you start making 100K and you're like, wait, I'm actually not as fulfilled as I thought I would be. Or, oh, I'll be happy when I'm dating this person, or I'll be happy when I move here or there. And it's like you get there. And again, maybe for a period of time, you feel like you're on cloud nine, but it's like, then you'll go back to that almost like that ceiling, right? That way that you've always felt before. So how do we overcome that ceiling? Like, how do we get to a place or make our bodies feel safe that once that we're okay with where we are? Is it as simple as just saying it to ourselves every day? Or do you have any like micro tips and tricks, and I know we were just talking about like the to-do list, everything else, or practices that like do help maybe overcome with this?
Yeah, so you can use this tip I'm going to give you for everything. Like, it doesn't just have to be overcoming the belief that like you have to have a million things on your to-do list. Like this is literally, I use this for every belief that I try to break through. Is literally, if you look at, there's so many mindset tools you can do, there's so many nervous system tools you can do, but when you look at the straight facts, all your brain and body need to actually feel safe in the moment is brain heart coherence. And you achieve brain heart coherence by getting your nervous system and your brain on the same page. And so the best thing you can do is vagus nerve stimulation, which my favorite thing is humming, but it's basically like sound frequency. So you could sing, you could hum, you could there's even little things like rubbing your ear, but like my favorite part is stimulating sound, or activating sound. And so my practice every day is 15 minutes. It's literally, I cut everything out. I used to do like an hour-long mindset nervous system practice every day. Now it's 15 minutes where I sit down. I have an audio actually that I can get you to link if you want. And I'll actually give it to you. It does cost money, but I'll give it to you.
Guys, she's giving us a little freebie. You have to take advantage of this. Okay, yes, we'll put it in the link in the bio for the show notes. Perfect.
So it's a vagus nerve stimulation audio. So it's the audio that I'm going to give you is 10 minutes long, but you don't have to do 10 minutes of it, where you're literally just humming with your eyes shut. And what that's doing is your heart is now going to send signals to your brain that you're safe. And then your brain can now change brainwave states. And then when your brain is able to change brainwave states specifically to theta brainwave, that's when your mindset work will actually work. So that's where you can visualize and it'll work. That's where you can do mirror work and it'll work. So that was just kind of what I realized, where I was like, okay, I'm doing all these a million things. Like, yeah, they're all great tools. But again, because you're doing a million things, you're keeping yourself in survival mode. The core really is just, if I want to change my mind, I have to get my nervous system on the same page as my mind.
Right.
Because if you wake up and you are unknowingly in survival mode, which a lot of us are because of just the way society is built and the way we've been trained to be, and then you go do an affirmation or a couple of affirmations, or you meditate and you visualize, well, you're still activating beta brainwave activity, which that is your alert brainwave activity, or brainwave state. It can't rewire itself in beta brainwave.
Right.
So in order to activate theta, your heart has to send signals to your brain that it's safe.
Okay.
And so you can activate your vagus nerve. It's the best way to send signals to your brain that it's safe. But in doing so, you're also regulating your nervous system. So you're taking your entire system, brain and body, out of survival mode and into brain heart coherence, which is the state you need to be in to change anything. So if you are, so I guess my tip for you is, if you are someone who has like a million things on your to-do list, literally just stimulate your vagus nerve and visualize what you want to happen.
I love that.
Or you could do some mirror work. Like, I do mirror work affirmations immediately after my visualization, where I'll say things like, I am worthy, I believe in myself. The core aspects of beliefs that will help you achieve anything. That's kind of what I do. But I don't do any of the like stuff that I really used to do.
I think that's good though, because you're keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many days.
That's all you need.
That's exactly. I don't think you need like the hour-long routines. And I think you hear this from any personal trainer, any therapist, like, simple is better when it comes to eating, when it comes to, I think, anything in life. Like, you just have to keep it very 1, 2, 3, because we're designed to like go towards things that are more favorable to us. Like, I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits by James
haven't.
Clear.
Everyone thinks it's ridiculous. I haven't read it.
So fucking good. No, you have to read it. But he basically talks about this idea of making things attractive for you. So it's like, you know, I might not want to do the dishes every day. I hate doing the dishes. But to make it more attractive for myself, I'm going to buy this really sick scrubber for the dishwasher, and I'm gonna buy my favorite scented soap, and I'm gonna make it like more fun for myself.
It's kind of like enjoyable. To get yourself to work out, you buy a cute workout set.
Exactly the same thing. And that's essentially, I feel like, what you have to do with your morning routine is like, instead of focusing on, you know, for example, with movement, people always say, you know, weightlifting and running is like a good combo. Yeah, absolutely it is. But, or some people might be more drawn to sports or Pilates, and at the end of the day, it's what you're going to stick with. Like, if weightlifting is not for you, then you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to find it enjoyable. It's not going to be like attractive to you. But if like hockey is your thing, or running sprints or whatever, like, that's what you're gonna keep doing because you like doing it, right?
Well, and what's ironic too is kind of the essence of my entire brand is freedom, and part of that, especially like, I'm a living walking testimonial of it, is just following what brings you joy. Because you could do all the right things, quote unquote, the right things, and not get where you want to be. Or even if it's like fitness goals, like getting in shape, like whatever it is, you're not going to get where you want to be if you're miserable doing it.
Absolutely. You have to put your happiness first. And okay, so that's what we want everyone to do, is go into the bio, listen to the vagus nerve activation to help get our brain and heart coherence on the same page. So essentially we help feel more safe.
So the audio I'm going to give you, it's just the vagus nerve part. So after you stimulate the vagus nerve, that's when you could like visualize or do the mirror work.
Yes, exactly. Because your brain is now in, you said it's going
theta
from
brainwave. It's going from beta into theta.
So what essentially is the difference? And if you can break it down to us, like, we're 5 years old, like, what's the difference between a beta and a theta brainwave?
So our brains oscillate in different frequencies throughout the day, depending on what we're doing. Like, when you're sleeping, your brainwave state's going to be really different than when you're studying. Right. Obviously.
Yes.
And so it changes with different tasks that you're doing, but each brainwave state also, it helps you with different things. So like, you want to be in deep delta brainwave when you're, to get deep sleep, to get actual like healing deep sleep where your body can regenerate. And So different brainwave states do different things. So like beta would be like you're on a phone call, maybe you're fighting with your partner or something, right? That'd be beta. If you're even like in school, you'd be in beta. It's like your high alert brainwave state.
Okay.
And then gamma is like you're zoned in flow. You could be in gamma when you're studying, when you're really locked in. It's a flow state. So really locked in, attention span is there. You can focus. Focus is amazing in gamma. And then theta is the imagery, brain rewiring state where like, because your subconscious speaks in metaphors and imagery. And so theta is the brainwave state that really hones in on that. And then delta is obviously sleeping. And I think I got all of them.
I think you got all of them.
Yeah, I got all of them.
All.
Yeah. So yeah, brainwave states, they're for different things. Like, for an example, when you're driving, beta. However, have you ever stopped at a red light and then been like, I don't remember stopping here?
Yeah.
You're in theta.
Many times.
Yeah. So it's scary, but
yeah, exactly.
When you're driving a route that you're very familiar with, your brain will basically
almost autopilot.
Yes, it runs on autopilot. So then you'll start to enter theta brainwave because your brain doesn't need your conscious focus.
Okay.
Because that's its autopilot routine. It knows it.
Yes.
But beta is essentially, if someone has a lot of anxiety, they have a lot of beta brainwave activity. Okay. So have you ever heard of beta blockers?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's what anxiety medication does. It's a beta blocker.
Okay. Yes.
But people also use beta blockers for like, if they're speaking at an event and they're usually typically really anxious before that, then they could do that.
My roommate and I were talking about this. What was the pill that your friend took to help with the speech? The beta blockers, yeah. And it would help with heart rate, right?
Yeah.
We're similar because I know medications like benzos, lorazepam, etc. Like those also do something similar.
I'm not familiar with pharmaceuticals, like what they do.
Yeah.
I grew up very holistic, so like my mom would never let me touch it with a 10-foot pole.
So my mom's like, take this, take this.
Very
Mom, I love
opposite.
you. I know you're doing your best. But.
Yeah. Just like Rita said. It calms your heart rate. So when you're in beta, you have high heart rate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you turn around and there's a bear, beta brainwave activity, high heart rate. Okay. So that's what I mean when you want to get your heart and your brain on the same page. So if your heart, because it always starts with your heart, your brain and body, the nervous system is 80% of the picture and the brain is 20%. I just lost my fucking train of thought.
It's okay. I kind of went.
Yeah, activating the vagus nerve.
Okay, so it is vagus.
Yes, yeah, activating or a physiological sigh that also activates the vagus nerve, but it calms your nervous system.
That's why other ship they do that a lot.
Yeah.
The big sigh.
Exactly. But yeah, so 80% of the picture is your nervous system and 20% is your brain.
Right.
And so it starts with the nervous system. The brain can't know that it's safe unless the heart sends signals to it telling it that it is.
Okay.
So if you're in high beta because you're being chased by a bear, you're fighting with your partner, whatever it is, your heart is doing this and it's sending signals to your brain saying survival, we need to keep us safe, we need to keep us safe.
And at this point too, our amygdala is also active?
Yes, yes, so yeah, because that's a fear center of your brain.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it's like this very anxious state, very high strung. Okay,
and your amygdala is activated, let me make this very clear, even when you're not being chased by a bear. Right. Like most people's amygdalas are activated because we're constantly in a state of survival.
Right.
And it could be so much as, again, like you're looking around the room and you see something that reminds your brain of a past experience that was not a good experience.
Right. Yeah.
Then it's now going to activate survival mode.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And so, for using the speech as an example, if you want to do a good job at your speech and it's in, I don't know, maybe your first time performing and it's in front of like 10,000 people or something, your brain's going to say, whoa, that's scary as hell.
Yeah.
And it's going to activate, it's going to get your heart to race, and then your heart's going to send signals to your brain that you're in danger. And then that's probably where you're going to forget your script, or you're going to forget your knowledge. This has happened to me so many times. I've literally gone in podcast interviews and they've asked me a question. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's happened.
It's like, have you seen Inside Out, the movie?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Whoever, they clearly had a neuroscientist work with them.
No, literally. Yeah. Especially like when it was so interesting. Like when, is it sadness and happy?
Yeah.
Or what's her name? Joy.
Yeah.
Go to like the back of the brain and pull out a memory of like,
Yeah.
oh, her childhood. And it's like, oh yeah, we don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
And then like, I resonated with that because it's like one day you'll just be like, I don't know, doing homework, like
Yep.
doing something we're doing now. And then you just remember like this random memory.
Yep.
And you're like, oh my God, like where did that come
Yeah.
from? Like, so
Well, something
crazy.
in your environment would have reminded your brain
Reminded
of that.
you of that.
But
Yeah,
again, like
exactly.
it's not even like conscious awareness. Like you could be like on your computer and like you could hear a sound in the background. Like for an example,
Yeah.
everyone knows what like a gunshot sounds like.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone knows because that's dangerous because they've been taught that that's dangerous.
Exactly.
So their
Yeah.
brain is constantly listening. It's
Yeah.
constantly scanning through all of your five senses in your environment at all times, no matter where you are, even when you're sleeping. And it's scanning for danger, and it only goes by what's dangerous by what it's been programmed to believe is dangerous.
Got it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if a perfect example, you have people who like shark divers.
Yes.
They're calm around sharks. Sharks can feel your electromagnetic field through your heart rate. So that's how they typically can know. I'm not a shark expert here, but that's how they typically can know that you're prey, because your heart rate is sending signals to the electromagnetic field telling them that
you're nervous.
That you're nervous.
That you're bait.
Yeah, but the
my
reason
God.
shark divers can get their hearts to be so calm and they can feel so calm around sharks is because they've trained their system to feel safe around sharks. But the average person
Right.
thinks a
Wouldn't
shark
know
is
to do
dangerous.
that.
They'd freak out.
So how do you get to that state? Is it just through consistent nerve work?
Consistent nervous system, getting your brain and body on the same page. And yeah, brain heart coherence is really
Right.
it. I spent all these years doing so many different tools with so many goals in mind, hardly being able to achieve anything.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like, no, all I'm doing every day is a vagus nerve stimulation audio and a visualization meditation and maybe a couple of mirror work affirmations, I've achieved every goal I've wanted in the last 8 months. So it's like,
fucking love hearing that.
it's
That's
all
awesome.
just brain heart coherence.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think too, this is why I've been hearing a lot about EMDR therapy and why it's so effective. And I was doing a lot of like just looking on TikTok as to like what happens in a session. And it's essentially what you're chatting about, right? Like bringing back a memory of something that is traumatic for you and like
it pushes
observing
it back, right?
Yes, the memory, like the memory is usually pushed to the back of our brain because it's like we don't want to remember it. It's triggering for us. So in the therapy, you are recalled of the memory, and then your therapist prompts you with questions like, how does your body feel right now? What state are you in? And the example I was watching is someone who had recently been in a car crash. And it's like, what do you see? And he's like, I see like the wreckage everywhere. Okay, great. What do you feel? He's like, very fearful. I'm fearful because I feel like my life is in danger, understandably. So he's in a car crash, right? So, and then taking that memory and like recalling that memory and then trying to replace it with new feelings and emotions so that your body knows it's safe. So that when, like you're saying, if that, like a car crash is an extreme example, but I don't know, let's say it is something from your childhood. Like, I'll disclose something here. Like, when I was younger, and I love my parents, but they love to party. Like, these people party more than I do, and I love them for it. But sometimes when I was younger, I'd be trying to go to bed, and I would hear loud music. And I was saying this to my therapist, and I'm like, hearing the loud music triggers me. Like, and it's funny because I love blasting my own music. Like,
see, but that's where it's interesting because that's now a learned behavior. Your brain thinks that's the normal way to go about things.
Exactly. I don't know. To me, it's like when it's like but I usually use headphones. It's usually when I'm in the car. And to me, I'm like, yeah, I guess that's normal. And I only realized that like, oh no, I listen to it way too loudly when I have a friend in the car. And they're like, holy shit, like turn it down. It's crazy. But to me, like when it's on my own terms and when I'm in control of the sound, who hears it, everything else, like when I'm in the driver's seat, it doesn't make me nervous. But when I, like, for example, if I'm trying to go to bed, because like as a memory, as a child, like if I was trying to go to bed and I would hear, you know, and it's not like it was extremely late, but like, let's say I would hear louder music at like a time when I was trying to go to sleep, I would get like really like almost angry, honestly, like just like this like feeling of like rage, of anxiety.
Yep.
I think because I felt powerless, because there's nothing I could do about it. And now as an adult, even though like I'm an adult and I just want to make it very clear that like my parents and I have a amazing relationship, love them to death. I have a lot of these same habits myself. It's just like when I was a kid, this is how it affected me. And even as an adult, if I'm at home now and I'm in that same childhood bedroom and I hear that really loud music as I'm trying to go to sleep or whatever the case is, those same feelings arise for me.
Yep.
And I think it's just because of the memories of when I was a kid trying to go to bed. Maybe I wanted like someone to sleep with me, or I wanted that sense of safety that maybe I didn't fully feel being just in my bed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having to retrain my brain of feeling safe in that moment.
Yep.
But I just find it so interesting too, and I don't know what the science is behind it. And like, I guess I do actually, you're saying it's learned behavior, but just like, I also love like blasting my music when I'm home alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes like my cat will get a little nervous and I'm like, oh, Junie, it's okay. Like everything's fine. But like, cause I know that everything is safe, but like, it's just odd.
Well, your brain learns through witnessing the people around you, especially in your primitive years, which is 0 to 7.
Yeah.
And so if you witnessed your parents constantly playing loud music in the house, your brain thinks like that's how the world works. We play loud music in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's just something though where it's like that's a very specific memory for me where like I can remember like feeling a certain sense of anxiety in the body from that external experience. And even to this day, not when I'm at a party, not anything like that. It's like specifically when I'm trying to go to bed and I hear like loud music from the basement or downstairs. I'm just like my body literally freaks out.
I think too, like alongside the vagus nerve and like the visualization of the mirror work, affirmations, whatever you choose to do. Another tangible thing that your listeners can take away is figuring out your triggers. Just like you said, like you're like, I notice that I get anxious when I'm not in control of the music. When I'm in an environment where like I feel like it's out of my control, that right there is a trigger. So then in moments where like, let's say you slept at your parents' house tomorrow night and they did that, you can now in that moment do deep breathing, activate your vagus nerve, calm your nervous system. And that's training your nervous system that association is no longer dangerous.
Right. Yes.
And so it really starts with your nervous system. Everything starts with your nervous system
it's
because
all stored in the body.
Your brain can't rewire itself. Not only is it stored in the body, but your brain can't rewire itself if your heart is sending signals to it that it's not safe.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So how would you say it takes a certain amount of time to get to that place? And if there is like an average time frame, and again, it's probably different for everyone, but like, what would you say? Like if you had to give like
what specifically?
When it comes to us overcoming like
challenges
like that.
So this might be a little controversial, especially if like a therapist were to listen, because again, healing does take time. Healing takes time. There are things that I'm still working on that I've been trying to heal for 10 years that I'm not where I want to be yet. Like healing takes time.
It's a journey.
Yes. But one of my favorite topics is quantum leaping using neuroscience, where you know what quantum leaping is, right?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't.
So quantum leaping is essentially like jumping timelines. So let's say like between different identities. So let's say right now you're someone who, examples are always never want to come to my mind. Let's say you're someone who makes like $5,000 a month and you really want to be the type of person who makes like $10,000 a month.
Okay.
People think that it's this like long journey to get there of like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to take this action, I have to whatever. And yes, you do need to heal your beliefs and your trauma and all of that to be able to sustain it. But you can quantum leap by erasing the perception of time in your brain.
Okay.
So when you the only reason we think that there is a gap between where we are and where we want to be is because of our perception of time. And time takes place in the parietal lobe in your brain. And so if you can quiet activity in your parietal lobe, you have no sense of awareness between that you're not who you want to be.
Okay.
So I'll use my personal example. So I wanted to manifest $5,000, and I was sitting in deep meditation. I did my vagus nerve stimulation first, obviously. And then I was in like a 20-minute meditation, and I visualized receiving the $5,000, like the whole process of like an application coming through, them making the payment, seeing the payment in my Stripe account. Like I visualized the whole process, but because I was in such a deep state of meditation, my activity in my parietal lobe slowed down, and I had no sense of awareness that I wasn't actually living that visualized state. So a lot of people, when they visualize, they think literally in the back of their mind while they're visualizing, this is just a visualization, this is just a visualization, let's visualize this, let's visualize that, instead of actually making it like a lived experience. And so when you can quiet that activity in your parietal lobe, it doesn't know that you're just visualizing. Within minutes of opening my eyes from that meditation, I was reading a text message. Like my eyes opened, I grabbed my phone, I read a text message, and an email came through for that application. And then I made $5,000. So it was literally like when you just close that gap between thinking that you're not where you want to be, and then you actually become the person you want to be, which you can do through visualization. You can have whatever you want. So, but the key thing is, yes, you can get the thing, but a lot of us, when we want certain goals or tangible things or whatever it is, we don't just want it once, we want to be able to sustain it.
Right.
And so,
especially with money.
Exactly. So yeah, I could have like manifested that $5,000 and then immediately spent it all because whatever, right? I sabotaged it. Or I could have the next month made like $500. Right. So it's like, it's not necessarily the thing that you want. It's more of like the sustainability of like, I want this to be my life. And so what you need to do then is actually build safety in your nervous system around it. Because your nervous system, just like I said at the beginning, is like an elastic band.
Yes.
And when if I got the $5,000 and I didn't believe that I was worthy of it, then my nervous system would contract, and then I would basically spend the money. That would be a form of self-sabotage. So people who have like shopping addictions, that is a form of self-sabotage. They don't believe that they're worthy. I mean, it could be different beliefs tied in there, but for a lot of people, it could be that they don't believe they're worthy of money. So when they get money, they have to spend it. It's because their nervous system literally can't hold it.
That's so interesting.
And so if you want to sustain it, let alone not spend it all, but if you want to sustain it, then you have to build familiarity in your nervous system that like, that's who you are. That's normal. And you do that by consistently activating your vagus nerve and then visualizing that identity of who you want to be, because that builds safety.
I love that. And do you think things like vision boards, mood boards, like I'm such a Pinterest girl, and I love like looking at like, oh, this is my dream life. And ironically, a lot of what I want in my life, and I feel like this is similar for a lot of people, is like things that do make me a little scared. Like wanting to live in this apartment, like moving out was always something that made me afraid, because I'm like, well, what if I move out and then I don't have any money saved? But then I'm like, okay, or like, let's say I had a certain amount of money and then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to move out, or, oh no, I don't have what I want yet. I'm going to wait until I have what I want, because then I can just buy a house. And it's like, but if you keep having that mindset, you're just going to be stuck where you are.
You know who Lewis Howes is?
Yes.
So I heard him, I think it was Jay Shetty's podcast.
Okay. Love Jay Shetty.
It was I think he's been on Jay Shetty twice, but it was his most recent one.
Okay.
And he was basically saying that he had $1 million in the bank and was still couch surfing because he was afraid to spend it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and that happens so often.
But people walk around thinking like, all I need is that $20,000. All I need is that $50,000, and then I'll be fine. But then they get that money, and then there's still another excuse of like,
exactly.
Oh, well, like maybe it's 100,000 that I need, or whatever it is, and it's because they, bottom line, don't feel safe spending it.
Exactly.
So
they were taught it's not safe.
Exactly.
Probably from a young age. Yeah.
Well, and also it's a very scarce mindset.
Yes.
So very financially successul people will tell you like, you need to be able to take really scary risks with your money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm not a millionaire, obviously, but like I would
not
consider
yet.
Not yet.
Come back.
I can't identify with that. I scratch what I just said. But I have put myself in many financial positions where I'm like, this could really, like, I could end up homeless. Like, I really could end up homeless here. But it all works out but also there's a bottom line of like trust, like, trust in yourself that you'll figure it out if all does go to shit. But also trust in like the universe that like you'll be taken care of, that you'll be supported and whatnot.
I love that so much, because I think, and that's something too, and I also feel like, if you're constantly keeping yourself in a space where you don't have to step out of your comfort zone, then why would you grow?
Exactly.
Like if you and I kept saying that to myself, I'm like, okay, if I stay home and I'm saving a little bit more money, of course, like anyone would be if they were not paying that much.
But
money
is it at the cost of your freedom, of your happiness?
Of your happiness, your mental health, your growth, so much. And I always say to myself, like, the period that I grew the most in my life was going away for school and living on my own, going away for university, finding such a great group of girlfriends, like learning, being in my first like relationship, being on my own for the first time, just handling shit on my own because your parents aren't there. Like I always say, like I was saying to Rita, like, sometimes I'd be home and I'd be sucking on my mom's tit. I'm like, I just knew that was safety. Okay, guys, I wasn't actually sucking on my mom's tits.
Use like, some discernment, people.
Guys, exactly. You get the visual. Like I was just like attached at the hip of like being nervous. And cause like growing up in the environment where you were home, it's like, that's what you're going to do. Whereas if you take yourself out of that, then it's like, okay, you're forced to spread your wings and fly. And like, your parents too just want to protect you. Whereas like if sometimes like if Rita or I are struggling, like we'll talk to each other about it and we always give those words of affirmation of like, you out of all people got this. Like we know this is a new situation. So we're going through a traumatic experience right now, like whatever it is, like it's a new change, like we'll get through it. And we just like give each other those positive affirmations and like hold each other to that. Whereas like someone like either one of our parents or even anyone's parents or like caregiver is maybe going to want to coddle you a bit because they want you to feel safe and they want you to feel like they have you and like that's so beautiful. But to what extent is that actually stunting you in a way that's not intentionally meant to stunt you? Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. And bottom line is if you want to live a big life or you want to achieve big goals,
you take big risks.
Not just that, you have to go outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't, like your comfort zone is your current reality. And if you want to experience a different reality, you have to leave that comfort zone. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like the unknown is so scary, but it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, you lose some money. Okay, you lose your job. Okay, you find a new job. Okay, you know, you move somewhere else. You just figure it out because you're forced to figure it out. And it's like, even if like, okay, let's say like worst case scenario, like you're homeless for a bit. Okay. The amount of survival skills you'll learn being homeless, like just making light of it, right? But like you will find a way out. Like, and if you like, there's just like, I don't know, there's all these like what ifs and like the what ifs can go on forever. And I say this too sometimes to like clients at work who are struggling to make a decision on a creative direction. And I'm like, listen, like we could go back and forth and debate this all day. Like it's just the decision's in your hands now of what you want to do, right?
Well, I've also heard too, like success, the difference between a successful person and someone who's less successful, I don't want to say non-successful, but less successful, is their ability to make a quick decision.
Yes, your bounce back rate. Yeah, I've heard about this too.
No, so bounce back rate is actually your ability to...
Oh, sorry. That's like how quickly you can recover.
Yes.
Okay, you're saying
it's decision time frame.
Okay.
Like it's the level of self-doubt you have essentially. So the only reason someone would struggle to make a decision is because of self-doubt.
Right.
Where they're like doubting themselves. They're doubting the outcome. They're doubting if they can make it work, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And someone who is able to bypass that self-doubt, which is really just a belief system. Right. They're able to be, and it really comes with self-trust, is like, no, I trust myself because the reason why a lot of people really struggle with whatever it is and making decisions is because they don't trust themselves enough to figure it out if it doesn't go the way they want it to.
Exactly.
And so those like really successful people, they're able to make a really fast decision and get where they want to be faster because they're making decisions at a faster rate.
Yeah.
Because they trust that if all goes to shit, they'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've read this book too. It was called, It had a really funny title. It was basically about the 4 personalities of a workplace.
Okay.
And there's the red, who the red is often the CEO, and they're very quick at decision making. They don't take a lot of time to think about things. They just do things like this.
Yep.
And then there's a yellow personality who's more of like the personality, and they might not have as much reasoning behind their decision.
Heard this, yeah.
I think it's called Surrounded by Idiots, which is funny enough.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like, obviously if you're a red type and you're working with a yellow type, then you're going to be like, why would they do this? Like, they're an idiot. So it's like, but it's just everyone has a different way of thinking, right? Like, and I always say this, like, take nothing in life personally, because everyone is just acting in a way that everyone's just acting out of their lens of life, and everyone's lens of life is so different. Like, nothing is ever personal. And then there's the green type of person. The greens are very agreeable. They'll help a lot with things. And a lot of the time too, like, these people can be intertwined. Like, you can be both red and, you know, green, or like yellow and red or whatever. And then the last one is blue. I believe blue is the most rare, and they're very like tech minded. Like, it's strictly math, like a very like,
logical thinking,
very logical thinking,
analytical,
very analytical, very logical, very like extremely unemotional.
Can I say something that actually might be a little controversial?
Yeah, say it.
I feel like those people who are very analytical have a harder time succeeding.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Because
I feel like I think you can have the hard skills.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the soft skills, which are so hard to learn, like, you can't teach soft skills, right? Like, then you're fucked. Because like, anything that you do in life, you need to have, like, I always say, if you're a likable person, like, if you're kind, if you're easy to work with,
you're not going to be successful.
I was going to say I think you will be successful.
If you're liked, no. If you try to be liked.
Not if you try to be liked. I'm just saying, like, if you're easy to get along with. Yeah. If you don't if like you're not constantly arguing with others, essentially, I guess. Because you're right, though, in the sense of, you know, people that march to the beat of their own drum, those are like the doers of the world. Those are the people that really succeed, own their own businesses, can do their own things. But like, if you're likable, then like, but not in a way that's you're pushing for people to like you, but just like, if you're yourself and you're coming across as genuine to other people, then people are going to authenticity. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think like people in manifestation say authenticity is the most powerful energy you can sit in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And like, I don't know, do you watch Love Island?
No, not Love Island, but I have watched like other reality shows.
Yeah, okay. So the reason I bring that up is because this season there's this one contestant, her name's Amaya. Okay. And she, like, when she first came in, she kind of seemed maybe a little like ditzy, like didn't know what was up from down, and like was starting beef with like some of the other contestants. But now like you realize from day one that she was herself completely. Yeah. And she's just like silly and goofy and wears her heart on her sleeve and is just so like genuinely in it for the experience of, and like, I think it's like obviously so bullshit that someone would actually try to find love on a reality show. It's just for entertainment. But like, she's really like honing out on the experience and meeting new people. And she's the most liked person on the show. And everyone keeps saying like she's the one that's going to win because she's just so true to who she is. And the audience doesn't, like, you can see how authentic she is through a screen. Like, there's no like hiding behind it. Yep. So I think kind of to close the loop on that piece is like, the more authentic you are, the more successful you're going to be because you're living more in alignment with like your true self, right? And your desires of what you want.
But also something too I want to mention about like people where they're super analytical is like you're only analyzing what your brain knows to be true. And so if you're trying to get outside of something you've yet to do, what are you analyzing? Right. Like your brain, it can't think of new possibilities. You have to actually show it new possibilities.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I think you see that a lot too. If it's not, it's very black and white with the type blues are people who are very analytical. Yeah. I think it's a balance, and it's beautiful if you're able to be both like data minded and then also like thoughtful, but it's a rare combination because often those who like think in that state are like very science, very like math oriented, don't tend to like swing the other way, right? Yeah. So
well, also too, like those people, I think you were calling them thought leaders. What?
Maybe?
No, so not the analytical people, the ones you go follow by thought. What are they called?
Oh, so okay.
Is it like where they're intuitive? They follow their intuition?
Well, the reds are, and granted, this was like a year that I read this a year ago. The reds are very quick decision makers. The yellows are more, they like lead with personality more, I want to say.
Oh, so I mean, like when it comes to making a decision, and you have the analytical person and the person who can like act based off of instinct and intuition.
I think that's more the yellow.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google it though quickly because I want to make sure I have this right.
The really interesting thing about intuition though is your intuition actually is guided by your subconscious. So if you're not wired for trust and expansion, then your intuition's only going to guide you towards more of what you already have.
Okay.
And that's actually something I recently learned.
Yeah.
That I used to like really think like, okay, trust my intuition. And I'm not trying to get anyone to not listen to their intuition, but I always used to be like, yeah, just tuning into my intuition, like what is it telling me I need to do? And I would still question like why I kept going around in circles. And it was because I didn't have self-trust. I wasn't wired for expansion. And at the same time, I struggled to make decisions really quickly because of the self-doubt.
Right.
And it was really just coming back to self-trust. And ever since I started rewiring self-trust, my intuition it feels scary doing things sometimes, but it'll lead me towards things that are actually of my highest good, or like actually moving me forward in the moving the needle forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize with intuition is like these people who can make decisions really quickly. It's because their intuition is so in tune with self-trust that, again, back to what we were saying with decision making, not having that self-doubt, it's because you have a solid foundation of self-trust.
Yeah.
But also being able to make intuitive, instinctual decisions that lead to good things is all based on self-trust.
Right. Well, because I was going to say, like, with making a decision so quickly, I think some of it comes with knowing you can execute quickly or you're able to do it quickly. So does that come with the belief
that's confidence?
That's just confidence, right? Like it's not, is there like, I forgot what I was going to say in regards to this. Like if you're able to make a decision quickly, you're then able to act quickly. But is there almost a sense of, would you say, ignorance that can come with that because you're not thinking as much maybe of the consequences, or is it just come down to,
you think that might be circumstantial?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Personality types.
But
a little bit.
There's three components to self-love that is really going to move the needle forward, and it's self-trust, self-confidence, and self-worth. Okay. And I like to look at self-trust as the belief, self-confidence as the action, and self-worth as the energy. Okay. Because self-confidence is, okay, I'm the perfect example. I've always been very confident. I've never been struggled to take action, execute on my plans, but I never felt worthy of what I wanted. So I would be taking all the action, running in circles, taking action, never seeing results because I literally energetically could not hold what I wanted because I didn't feel worthy of it.
Yeah.
And then I also was lacking self-trust, the belief that I could even do it. So if you want to be super successful, I really think the foundation is just three things: self-trust, self-confidence, self-worth. Because if you have the self-trust, then you'll make the quick decisions. You'll make decisions that are scary. You'll take risks, whatever. Then the confidence is you'll actually take the action towards what you want. And then the self-worth is believe within your nervous system that you are worthy of what you want. So then your nervous system will expand and you can actually hold what you want.
Love it. So it sounds like coming back to just regulating the nervous system in order to expand that self-worth, we need to help better regulate the nervous system.
So the reason I say self-worth is an energy is because your nervous system, it is someone walks in a room. No, it is. Someone walks in a room. You can just tell that they're sure of themselves. It's not something they say or do. It's a felt sense, right?
Yeah.
And so if self-worth is an energy, then the way that you work with self-worth is through the nervous system, because the nervous system holds emotions and emotion is energy.
That's so perfectly explained for people that might not understand the spiritual level of things a little bit. Like that perfectly ties it. Are you a Joe Dispenza fan?
Love Joe Dispenza.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say you remind me.
I have like 15 of his
him.
meditations.
No, Rita and I do meditations all the time.
That is the biggest compliment. Someone commented on my video. This was like when I first started TikTok, and obviously was like very oblivious, like I said earlier, to like haters.
Yeah.
And so I was very confident in like what I was saying.
Yeah, as it should be.
And someone said I was like a mini Joe Dispenza Jr. or something. Yes, I was like, that is literally the best compliment.
You are, because you mix, like, he's so great at like mixing the meditation, the visualization of things, and like your like ideal self with science.
Yeah.
And like helping people,
the intersection between science and spirituality.
Yeah, exactly. And like helping people see beyond that bigger picture, because I think a lot of people hear of meditation or anything spiritual or spiritually grounded and think it's very woo woo and like whatever, like it's not actually a thing. But he helps prove with science that like, yes, it is. Like,
if anyone ever thinks
so
meditation is woo woo, I dare them to meditate every day for 30 days and tell me it's fucking woo-woo.
I know, exactly. Like it just gets you in such a better mindset, right? Like it just helps you see,
even
like,
if it's
so much
just
more
your
clearly.
mental health. Like if you don't want to believe that you can create your reality, then whatever, but like sucks to be you, because then you're never going to live a life you want to live.
Exactly.
But even just for your mental health, like you'll just feel better on a daily basis if you meditate.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, one big story, or I shouldn't say big story, one thing I want you to tell us before you go. My favorite TikTok of yours is where you were explaining how you met your boyfriend and the story of the black rose.
Okay.
When I was sad. When I opened this, I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking crazy. And guys, like this is what made me watch, like always go back to Jericha's content, because she knows what the fuck she's talking about. Because I saw this story and I'm like, this is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I just like, I need everyone to hear this story, because it's such a perfect example of like what you focus on comes to you, and like what you are focused on. And when you're in that right energy, you attract it.
Well, something that I didn't share in that video that kind of adds on to what you focus on expands.
Yeah.
Is about, okay, so first of all, Will and I, we went to high school together. So I didn't like meet him per se, but like we were in the same friend group, but we never spoke.
I have so many friends like that,
which is so weird.
My best friend, she's known her boyfriend for her whole life. Like they have a photo together of them like playing soccer when they were like 5.
Yeah.
But they like never really hung out, never talked until like probably like 15 years later. Yeah. And then they started like dating.
Yeah, we were literally 10 girls, 10 guys in one friend group.
Yeah.
Never spoke.
That's so wild.
It's like what's the something string theory?
Oh, invisible string theory?
Yes. I wholeheartedly believe Will and I are invisible string theory.
If you guys get married, you have to have, do you know Invisible String by Taylor Swift, the song?
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You have to play it at your wedding.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways, so I didn't, when I say met him, I take that loosely because like obviously I didn't just meet him, but it was the summer after I had gotten out of a 7-year relationship, and I was really starting to find myself again, because I really lost myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
And I was starting to find myself again. I started my business. I was just on a very big high, and I was like, life is going great. I'm seeing progress, getting where I want to go. And I remember my mom gave me this like angel book that she had of like different sayings you can say.
We're having your mom on the podcast next, by the way. She sounds like a gem. Yeah.
There's different like, what are they called? Prayers, essentially. Mm-hmm. So like one of them was like finding your soulmate. And it was like this certain phrase that you say, and you like hold a hand on your heart and you like speak to a specific angel. I think it was like Archangel Michael or something like that. I could be wrong.
Who do we pray? Who's that? Saint Anthony.
Okay.
Every time we lose something in the house, Rita's like, we pray to Saint Anthony. Yeah. And it always comes back. Yeah. It's so funny.
Well, so there's a brain hack in what you're doing there too, but
we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah. So it was basically just a book of like different prayers. Like you could say a prayer for career, you could say a prayer for soulmate, for love, for health, for family, like whatever it was.
I need a copy of this book.
Yeah. I'll go home and I'll find the name of it and I'll send it to you. And there was this one for soulmates, and it was basically like a prayer asking like for you to bring your soulmate into your life.
Right.
And I said the prayer, and then a week later, I met this guy. And things were really great with him, but I just had this gut feeling that there was, I don't want to say better, because that insinuates that he wasn't good enough.
Right, yeah.
But I just had this gut instinct that it wasn't it. I was like, this just isn't it. And he like asked me to be his girlfriend and everything. And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, even he was actually my cousin's friend. And so my cousin asked me, like, why did you say no? Like, things were going great. And I was like, it's just a feeling.
Like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just a feeling. Like, he's great guy, great chemistry, got along with him well. It's just a feeling, just not it.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks of saying no to him and kind of ending things with him, I bump into Will. And I guess I forgot the one part where a few months prior, I had seen this video of a girl saying, like, if you ask for something really strange that you don't normally see on a day-to-day basis, when like you want a sign that thing is kind of like within your life, ask for it. So I asked to see a black rose, because literally, where the hell do you see a black rose?
Yeah.
And so I end things with that guy. 2 weeks later, I bump into Will. We didn't start talking right away. I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after we bumped into each other. But we bump in, we kind of like reconnect, and then we swap phone numbers, and then we kind of start talking. And then first of all, the day I started talking to him, I was moving. And I'm just trying to remember all the signs that I said in that video. The day I met him, the day we started talking, I was moving and I was driving the U-Haul, and the car in front of me's license plate was Will 31. And I remember I was like kind of giggling, oh, it says Will, whatever. And then a week or two later, I found out his jersey number was 31 for hockey. And I was like, I was like, that. Crazy. As soon as I was in his room and I looked up and saw the number, my heart was like, what? No, like, it kind of like dropped. I was like, well, I obviously didn't tell him that at that moment.
It wasn't his car, right?
No, it wasn't his car.
Can you imagine? It's like such like a like frat thing to do. Yeah, like his own name and
it wasn't
like,
his
number.
Car.
That's so funny.
I wasn't even in the same city as him. I was
wow.
I was in Guelph and he's in Waterloo.
Okay. Wow. That's so crazy.
And
that's
so
wild.
That was the first thing where I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I'm like meant to see this guy.
Yeah.
And then the really big one was I was out for drinks. We weren't even officially dating yet, but I was out for drinks and dinner with him. And my cousins were there. And because my cousins are like my best friends. Like, they're more like my brothers than they are my cousins. They come everywhere with me.
Not the other guy, though.
Not the other guy. No. He wasn't there. And mind you, you know this, but for the listeners, my boyfriend has a full sleeve of tattoos. And I've never really looked at them because they're all like interconnected. It's not like random tattoos here and there. So like if you want to look at his arm, you got to like really inspect it. And I was overhearing his conversation with my cousin, and he was like, yeah, and I have 2 black roses. And I heard black roses and my brain was like, hold on. I asked to see a black rose when I'm with my soulmate. And so I looked over at him and I said, what did you say? He's like, I have 2 black roses. I was like, show me. He has 2 black rose tattoos. And I was like, okay, like that's weird.
That's so, like chills.
Yeah. But
like,
then it gets more crazy because so him and I, like, we were in the talking phase for like 5-6 months before we actually became official.
Yeah.
It was like literally 2 weeks before we became official. And, one of my old clients was a Reiki healer Reiki healer. And she was like, I'll give you a free session. I said, amazing. And she goes, I don't know if you're into this, but like, I wouldn't consider myself a psychic medium, but like sometimes when I'm doing Reiki, messages will come up. Yeah. Are you open to hearing them? I was like, hell yeah. That's like, so I'm into that shit.
Yeah.
And so she does my Reiki session, and then she says something like, a bunch of things, like 2 guys' names, whatever. And then she goes, I'm seeing an old man. I feel like he's on your mom's side and he has white hair. And I was like, that's my papa. Like, my mom's dad, he died when I was like, he either died right before I was born or when I was like 2 years old. Like something, I don't remember anything about him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's my mom's dad, my papa. And she goes, okay, he's sending you someone and you're going to know it's him because he's going to have similarities to your papa. And I was like, oh, okay, but I don't know anything about my papa. So I just like kind of let it go. And I think also intuitively, I was a little afraid to hear if it wasn't Will because I was already so like emotionally attached to him.
I was going to say, were you like, because I think that's something I would really latch on to. Oh,
I was trying really hard not to latch on to it. So I was like, I don't want to investigate because if I hear that he has nothing similar with Will, I don't.
Right. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So whatever, we end the call, and then I call my grandma because, again, this girl brought up 2 guy names. And so I wanted to see, like, was it related to something to me? Because I didn't recognize the names. Never heard of these names.
Yeah.
And I called my grandma, and she goes, no, I don't remember that. And I said, oh, okay. Like, just out of curiosity, like, what was Papa's name? Like, she brought up Papa, but, like, I don't really remember Papa. She goes, oh, do you want his Hungarian name or his English name? I was like, Grandma, obviously. She's are you European? Are you European? Yeah. Are you laughing because your grandparents do stuff like that? Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like going to like the nail salon too. And I'm like, what's your name? They're like, Hannah. I'm like, no. Yeah.
So
no chance.
She goes, Hungarian or English? And I was like, Grandma, obviously the English. And of course she has to go, well, his Hungarian name was. Yeah. And then she goes, but in Canada, everyone called him William. And I was like, my jaw dropped. So I was like, wait a minute. And Will's name is William. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So that was like kind of confirmation to me that I was like on the right track path. At least. Whether he's like the forever, right? Obviously I want him to be, but I can't tell that. Yeah. But yeah, I asked for that sign, got it. My thing with like my papa happened, and I prayed to the angels for my soulmate, and then he came.
That is so crazy. Yeah. That is so wild. And did you tell him these pieces along the way, or was it like later down the line?
Oh, you like told him we were officially dating when I told him all of this. Yeah, I'm not gonna that's crazy. He'd be like,
he's like, he's like, you know what? I've been thinking.
It came up in like intimate conversations where I'd be like, I know you're my person, and then I tell him. And when I told him the Papa one with the William,
that is like
his jaw
so
was
crazy.
Like, what?
No, especially like that's so beautiful too, because you not having the chance to get to know your Papa and then like having that come through is just like so. Like that is the universe doing its work. Like that is magic happening in real time. That's so crazy. Yeah. I just love that story. I was like, that gave me hope for like a bright future ahead. Yeah. So I was like, I just need everyone to hear it. So beautiful. Well, Jericha, you are a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a fun conversation. Yeah. Where can everyone find you if they want to work with you, if they want to get in contact with you at all? Pimp yourself out. Tell us all the things.
So, yes, I'm on TikTok. I don't really post on there anymore, though. I'm kind of leaning more towards all of putting my creative energy into my podcast. Okay, so you can find my podcast on YouTube and video version. It's called Undo with Jericha Szlo.
It's a great podcast, you guys. It's definitely worth a listen.
Thank you. But yeah, you can find me on my podcast, or my website is www.itsjerichaslo.com. Everything you need to find about me is on there, even other social media platforms. But yeah, my main program and way to work with me is through my new program called Wired for Wealth, where I basically just help people kind of break the rules of the matrix to create a life of freedom, living out their true purpose, because that's kind of like been my entire journey of, like I said earlier.
Love it.
I've been very like, no, I'm spending my life doing what brings me joy. Like I'm not working a traditional 9 to 5. I'll find a way to make money doing what I love. And yeah, that's kind of what I help other people do too.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Awesome. Well, I hope that this brings you some new followers and just a bigger community. But I feel like our communities are very similar in that way. So that's great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you. And guys, you know where to find us on Spotify, the Mind Over Matter podcast, and on Instagram at Mind Matter Pod. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star review. I guess I should be looking at the camera. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye,
guys.
She's back.
Bye.